AITAH for telling my fiancé she can't rescind her invitation to one of her bridesmaids. Story 1. I've got a bit of a tricky one, and I don't know if maybe I'm being ridiculous. My M22 fiancé F21 and I have been engaged for about 2 months now, and at the beginning of our engagement my fiancé asked my sister F20 to be one of her bridesmaids. My sister has a lot of chronic medical conditions which severely affect her quality of life. Things like standing and walking are incredibly difficult for her to the point where she sometimes has to use a wheelchair and can't stand for more than a few minutes at a time without passing out. She also has a service dog currently in training for different issues. My fiancé knew some of these health conditions but didn't really know to quite the extent that she suffers. Now that wedding planning is full swing, I started talking to her about some of the ways that we can accommodate my sister during the ceremony, things like having a chair for her to sit down and allowing her to use her wheelchair for the party shots. After explaining this, my fiancé is of the opinion that she made a mistake in asking my sister to be her bridesmaid and wants to tell her that she can be part of the other aspects of the wedding but not a bridesmaid. I told her this was absolutely not an option because she is very, very excited about being a bridesmaid for the first and likely only time, and after a heated discussion I accused my fiancé of being insensitive. To add some more context, my sister is going through a lot of mental health challenges as well as dealing with a recent breakup with a 2-year relationship. She's borderline suicidal, and talking about being a bridesmaid was one of the only things that I've seen lately that has immediately brightened her face. I don't know what to do. I feel like my fiancé is being ridiculous for not wanting one of her bridesmaids to be sitting down during the ceremony, but I don't know. Maybe I'm the one that's out of touch. Our advice. It sounds like you're in a tough spot, but it's essential to approach this situation with empathy and understanding for everyone involved. Your fiancé may not have fully understood the extent of your sister's health challenges when she initially asked her to be a bridesmaid. Now that she does, she's likely feeling overwhelmed with the logistical challenges of accommodating those needs during the wedding. However, it's equally important to recognize the emotional significance of this role to your sister, especially given her current struggles. Being a bridesmaid can be a source of joy and validation, particularly in the midst of difficult times. Your fiancé's decision to rescind the invitation could have serious emotional consequences for your sister. Instead of framing this as an either-or situation, try to find a compromise that honors both your sister's needs and your fiancé's concerns. Perhaps you could work together to make accommodations for your sister during the ceremony while still allowing her to participate as a bridesmaid. This might involve arranging for a chair or wheelchair, as you mentioned, and ensuring that she has support throughout the day. Additionally, it's crucial to prioritize your sister's mental health and well-being. If she's struggling with suicidal thoughts, it's essential to ensure that she has access to the support and resources she needs. Encourage her to seek professional help if she hasn't already, and consider involving a therapist or counselor in these discussions to provide guidance and support for all parties involved. Ultimately, this situation calls for open communication, empathy, and a willingness to find a solution that respects everyone's needs and feelings. It may require compromise and flexibility, but with patience and understanding, you can hopefully reach a resolution that works for everyone involved. First comment. SH. How are y'all planning a marriage and family and you don't know immediate family medical issues? Did y'all date before getting engaged? Are there a potential for hereditary issues on your side? Have you made fiancé completely aware? Are there potential hereditary issues on her side? Have you asked? And I mean really, like any kid in my generation pool is going to have glasses, nothing earth-shattering, but no one in my family can see for crap. It's worth discussing. If she doesn't know something so basic as your immediate family needs a wheelchair, does she even know you? How do Christmases look in your mind and in hers? Will you always make sure your home is wheelchair accessible so sis can come visit? Did she dream of a 3rd-floor walk-up in the city? She shouldn't remove her as a bridesmaid, but I think y'all are caught up in love and being young and need to pause and have big, heavy conversations that aren't fun. I.e., always heard you don't really know if you love someone until you've seen their bathroom dirty, seen them sick, and watched them puke can be alcohol-induced only when you still love them. Do you know you love them? And not just the shiny version. It's time to get in there and get dirty, dude. AITAH for asking my siblings to move out of my house. Story 2. I bought my house in January 2020. I was 23 at the time, and I paid the down payment 50% from personal savings and 50% from gifts from my family. I live in a city about 2 hours away from my parents. Obviously, COVID lockdown happened, and in July 2020, my older brother, James, started working as a doctor in the hospital near me. I was living alone, and he had just gone through a breakup, and I thought it would be nice for us to live together. Subsequently, in September 2022, my younger sister started a new course in the city. Originally, she was commuting from my parents and staying a few nights a week with me. After a while, this got too much, and she moved in. I love my siblings. I like living with them, but it's all a bit much. I might as well live with my parents at this point, and it's all getting a bit much as the family seems involved in everything. The final straw is that both my siblings now have partners, as do I. So regularly there are 6 of us, and like everyone has jobs and money, and we don't need to all be in one house. My boyfriend is moving in, my house is in a better location, and is nicer than his apartment. I have asked my siblings if they could move out by the end of the summer, September. At first they were both fine with this, however now James has said he doesn't understand why I don't just move in with my boyfriend rather than kicking out my brother and sister. My sister has subsequently now said it's not fair because my PRETA helped pay for the house. So my query is AITAH for asking them to move out? Our advice. In this situation, it's understandable that you're feeling overwhelmed with the crowded living situation, especially with the addition of your siblings' partners. It's important to prioritize your own comfort and well-being in your own home. While it's great that your siblings have been able to stay with you during certain times, it's also reasonable for you to want your own space, particularly now that your boyfriend is moving in. Your siblings may have initially been understanding of your request, but their reactions seem to stem from feeling entitled to continue living in your house because they contributed to the down payment. However, it's crucial to remember that your ownership of the house entitles you to make decisions about who lives there. Your siblings' contributions to the down payment were gifts, not investments in property ownership. It's not fair for them to guilt trip you into allowing them to stay longer than you're comfortable with. That being said, it's important to communicate openly and empathetically with your siblings about your decision. Acknowledge their feelings and express gratitude for their contributions, but also assert your need for personal space and independence. Offer to help them find alternative living arrangements and support them during the transition period. Ultimately, prioritizing your own mental and emotional well-being doesn't make you the asshole in this situation. It's about finding a balance between familial obligations and personal boundaries. First comment. NTA. It's your house to do with what you will. The conversation you need to have with your siblings is how they want this to end. With them being grown-ups and getting their own places, which with your generous below-market rent, they should be able to afford moving out. Or dragged out by the cops after you evict them. I read that as tongue-in-cheek. You don't seem like the kind of person to do that. But here's my biggest advice. Tell them, I've made my decision. I want to live in my own with my BF. You have until date to find a new place to live. The decision part of the comment is the most important part. There's no negotiating from it. How you came by the money for the house has no bearing on this conversation. What they're really upset about is the disturbance in the status quo. They're afraid of this change and taking it out on you. Setting a boundary ESP with family is hard, and I don't envy your situation. But be firm and don't give in. Best of luck, op. Second comment. NTA. If they pay rent, provide formal written notice that your home is no longer available for rent. Pick the soonest move-out date according to the area you live in. If they don't leave, then start the eviction process. Remember, documentation. Use certified mail for all communication. If you have a lawyer friend who is willing to help you out, ask for their help. If not, and you can afford it, get a lawyer. Take pictures of the current state of your home, inside and outside. Have you done home improvements that have improved their quality of housing? Find those receipts. Is there any promissory documentation, i.e., emails, text messages, voice recordings, videos stating how long they can stay in your home? Sadly, family always assume that because it's family, it's okay to FK someone over. SMH. Family or not, these people are impeding on your quality of life. Them paying rent does not give them any right to your home. Them helping you pay the mortgage isn't any different than them paying rent somewhere else. Do they think that every place in the world that is being rented is already completely paid off? PFFTT. They probably haven't saved any money, assuming that you are going to just let them live with you forever. And now they're mad that you're asking them to be actual adults. Ha ha ha. Good luck to you.